Yeah, it was my favorite character. And when I was playing Fallout 4, um, the journalist girl, she was my girlfriend, but also the pirate ghoul was my boyfriend. And then I was like, oh my god, I hope they never meet. Were you shocked by that? And fainted?
Off camera, that was an anime thing where in one frame of animation, I immediately fell backwards and was lying on the floor. Going, NANI?! In preparation for Death Stranding, we should play and watch everything we can think of that has babies in it.
Yes.
To see if that'll help us understand the plot more.
I think so.
Okay, so it's like Reborn, the boss baby.
Baby geniuses.
Look who's talking.
Yeah.
There's like a PlayStation racing game where you can play as a baby and just run really fast.
Okay. Rugrats.
I don't know. Well, the Rugrats were more like I think they were slightly too old to be babies. They were like when they were like 2 or 3.
What?
Were the Rugrats like 2 or 3? They were like toddlers.
Well, one of them was constantly wearing a diaper, so
yeah, maybe he plays Call of Duty. So she's worked with Kojima before.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so has Troy Baker, the guy who we were listening to.
Oh yeah, I thought I only know him as Joe.
He's Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 5.
You mean Dark Souls 3?
Yeah, that is him crying.
Okay.
At this point, Miyazaki is just like it's like a depraved Roman emperor getting famous voice actors to come into a studio and just make baby crying noises and leave.
Sometimes he invites them to be silent.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They got Iveta Mradislova back to record all that Maria dialogue and then used one line.
Yeah, pretty much. This is Racer Baby? What the fudge? You see, when you told me that, I imagined a baby in like a Mario Kart.
No, it's just really, really fast crawling.
That's kind of creepy, I'll be honest.
It can drift.
Oh god, it's a drift baby.
Yeah.
Is it a Tokyo Drift baby?
Maybe that'll be a series, like a Fast and the Furious, like prequel. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift babies.
Oh my god.
It'll be like the X-Men prequels, and they'll do their own series. And then one of Vin Diesel will go back in time and have to race against his baby self.
I'm just looking at it. I'm just like, yeah. It mostly terrifies me because imagine if it's like an evil baby and then it's running after you. You can't run away from that.
No, exactly. It's terrifying.
It's not like Jason or whoever who walks like super slowly and you can just take the train home and they'll never find you. It's like, yeah, this will race the train. And nobody
would ever like stop the baby because they'd just be like, oh, it's a baby.
And nobody ever would suspect it either.
It's not going to hurt us. That's the plot of the Boss Baby. Oh, the Boss Baby's got an extremely complicated lore that I think requires its own episode to explain.
Okay. All right. But first, Richie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Death Stranding.
I have a story about that, how I used to get married and then kill my wives because once you get married, the family would give you what do you call that?
Dowry.
Yeah. So basically what it was is that like the ring was like 100 coins or 200 coins and the dowry was like 10 times that or something. It was much, much more. So what you would have to do is you buy a ring, propose, get married, and then kill your wife and do it over and over again. It's like dowry farming.
What game is this?
Game? That was funny, no?
What game is this? Is it Skyrim?
No. And then what happened was, because this would count as a bad deed, I would physically become more monstrous, and I would have like I think I'd
Fable.
have like red eyes. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think I had like flies flying around me.
Yeah.
And so nobody would want to marry me. So do you know what I did?
You stop murdering people for money.
No.
See, that's the good option. It's got a morality system where you can choose to murder people for money or not.
No, I figured out something better. I found this armor. It's like this, I think either silver or golden armor, but it was like a good hero armor. And so when people looked at me, they didn't see that I looked like a devil with like flies flying around me on the inside. They just saw the armor. And they're like, oh, he seems like a nice guy. So they kept marrying me and I kept murdering them.
What's the moral of this fable?
I don't know. You just reminded me of marriage, and I thought I would share. I made a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
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 But then what I would do is I would kill like the wife, and then in like a little house, and then the body would stay there. But then the next wife would marry me, come into the house, and be like, "Oh no, a murder!" And then I'd kill her, and I'd have like a pile of wives in the house.
This game sounds horrifying. Isn't it meant to be like a whimsical tale narrated by Stephen Fry or something?
Not when Sim plays it. Funnily enough, that's all I remember of Fable. I played the entire game. I finished it. I think I played it multiple times, and that's what I remember. Yeah.
So that's like the equivalent of people who played The Sims and then just like locked people in rooms they couldn't get out of until they starved to death.
I think so. Maybe I should try Sims.
The Japanese dub of the game will star Kenjiro Tsuda as Sam Bridges. Norman Reedus is the model and voice actor in the English version.
You skipped. Oh no, we talked about Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yes. Recording it this early in the morning is a bad idea. Also, directly next to this is a feature about like 30 years of Gunbuster.
What's Gunbuster?
Gunbuster's a really good anime.
Hmm.
And it's written by someone who has an anime podcast that's much better than ours.
Speaking of anime podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We recorded one.
Uh-huh.
It's much more on topic than this. I feel like this one is just like the podcast equivalent of Hamburger Helper. It's just like we literally just have some footage of a guy and some slime and then a tentacle monster, and you have talked about like Fable and a baby racing game.
Okay, but now look at the link I sent you. It was posted by Eddie Rips, and it's a comparison of Troy's character and some guy, I don't know who he is.
Chico is a character from Metal Gear Solid. Someone is going to click this thinking it's going to be actual news, and they're going to get really annoyed.
No, because that's what everybody's reporting right now.
Oh, God.
Literally just that we found out that there are 2 new characters, and then some artwork showed off more characters, and this is a new trailer.
Well, then why are we doing this at all?
Why are we living at all? Why are we alive right now at all, Richie?
So you've been playing Nier Automata.
Maybe this is very deep.
Well, like the plot of the original Metal Gear Solid relies on all the villains knowing you're going to beat them.
Really?
Yeah, because the Metal Gear Solid, the original game, like the plot is that they need you to get to the end of the game because the weapon is key to your DNA. Which means that, like, working backwards from that, all the villains in between the start of the game and that point, if they had actually killed you, their entire plan wouldn't have worked.
Which Metal Gear is this?
The first one.
So you now spoiled the first one for me.
The first one is like 20 years old.
So you spoiled the first one. You spoiled the 5th one. How many are there total? How many more are you going to spoil?
You realize that like they're released out of chronological order.
Oh, another spoiler. This is a general spoiler.
So when I'm like, this character dies, it's like they probably were already dead canonically in the series at that point, and we just go back.
So that's like spoiler number 7 in one day. Thanks, Richie.
I didn't know we were going to do this. I didn't want to do it, and I still don't.
Do you know I have a made-up language?
Go on.
Yeah, sometimes I just go and that's how I talk to my boyfriend and expect him to understand me.
I feel like your boyfriend is the unsung hero of this podcast. If he were like even remotely less tolerant, none of this could happen.
I think I would have been dumped a long time ago. Oh, the other day he texts me, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I have PTSD. I'm like, what? He's like, so I go to the fridge and I open it and I hear Ludwig music being sang badly in the background, and I swear to God, I could almost see you do the Ludwig dance.
I didn't know there was a Ludwig dance. What's that?
The Ludwig choreography?
I know that I know you do something with a cardboard tube where you pretend that's the Moonlight Great Sub.
Yeah, but that's part of the choreography. The cardboard tube is the second phase. There's a whole Ludwig song and choreography. It's pretty prominent in our household, to the point where it gave my boyfriend PTSD, where he hears it, sees it when I'm not at home.
Oh, God. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I have something important to tell you. You didn't see it yesterday because you didn't come to the stream because you were sleeping because you're in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a chair.
Oh, you told me that.
What? When? Really?
Yesterday you said you got a chair.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah, but I think a lot of things you do you have no memory of because you do them very early in the morning and you don't wake up properly for like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's a cool chair. It was like on a super duper sale, so I had to get it. Also, it's like a beautiful white and pink color, and it's amazing. And it's so like fun and whimsical. Much more fun and whimsical than Fable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the more you bully me, the more does the chair transform into like a gothic throne with skulls on it.
Yes.
Okay, I see. It's like the picture of Dorian Gray. Like the worse you behave, it all reflects on the chair rather than you.
Yeah. It's like a chair karma system.
Yeah.
Chair morality.
Good. Do you want me to edit this?
No, just release it as is.
Oh, God. If I give you back the Patreon money for this month, can you not release this?
You know what? We'll compromise. We'll put this on Patreon. How about that?
All right.
We'll put this. We'll put this on the highest tier. How about that?
I'm imagining like the Nixon tapes. And it's like all this stuff where it's like, no, it's okay, we'll put it on the really high tier Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like this could be a model for like saving the economy. Is that you just release state secrets at a really high tier Patreon level. So then people sign up for it, and then like you'll get like other countries signing up for it. Like, oh, we can learn about the new ICBM system. So like North Korea's putting up Patreon money, China's putting up Patreon money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we will be in history books as the ones to like trigger the patron state secret scheme or ideology?
Is that well, this podcast is Russia adjacent. Okay, here's the idea, right? You release one side of this podcast at one tier and the other at the other tier, and the only way is to get both tiers and play them at the same time, and then they sync up.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay.
I can't believe this is only 40 minutes long. It feels much longer.
Is this how co-op works? Like, you just carry the other person around and they don't really do anything?
So kind of like co-oping with you.
Oh, you know what? Just for that, this is going on YouTube.
No, I'll be good.
It's to give you motivation. It's like the way Jigsaw gives motivation to people in Saw.
That is a bit like this podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a series of psychological games that you play with me.
Yeah. Okay. Did we miss anything?
I just realized you can't edit this until I send it to you.
Oh, so it's like you're holding it
I have all the cards.